Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we went and entered the 2021 NHL entry draft, and I would have to say it was quite a success. We made a lot of deals at the draft regarding our draft picks. Edmonton decided they wanted to trade that first overall pick, which turned into the franchise player in Alexei Pietrangelo. Part of me is surprised they wanted to give that up. Could you imagine a line of Pietrangelo, McDavid, and whomever you want to play on that line? I think that was a rough decision to make for Edmonton. But you know what? I think we made out like gangbusters in the draft. We select him. We select Brandt Clarke. We get Trevor Wong. I thought it was a phenomenal draft. So you know what? Let's go check out all the guys we drafted in year number 2. So obviously, you got the upcoming rookie sensation who could play first line minutes this year. I have my roster sheet out. I'm debating moving him to the right side. For year 1, it might be smart to play him on the second line for the majority of the year, just like I did with Kaprizov. Kaprizov is an 89 overall now, so he would be moving up to the first line with like Kunin, and maybe you play Parise up there. Parise was fantastic pretty much all season. He's up to an 86 now, which is just surprising. Everybody had growth this year, except for a few guys that we'll get to. But guys like Kunin, he's up to an 86. Fiala didn't grow much because, he had a rough year playing on that first line. Greenway had growth. Parise, Donato even had some. So even though we missed the playoffs, we had a strong season, and that's pretty much in part to Kaprizov's 73 goals and 8-game winners. Now, we get a guy like Alexei Pietrangelo. And obviously, I want you guys to give me some nicknames, but I have a few already. Like Petey would be a nice one. Something like that. AP, I'm not sure, but always give me suggestions about that sort of thing. If you guys give me nicknames, I will use them if they're decent. Just like Big Texas or the Hall of Fame line in the Columbus Blue Jackets franchise mode. Pietrangelo, I'm going to offer him a contract right now. You will be a Minnesota Wild. Now, the two other top prospects we got Brandt Clarke, and he slipped to the 5th overall pick, and I believe I made a deal with Edmonton again to move up, if I'm not mistaken, move up one spot and select him, which is I can't believe Detroit went with who did Detroit go with? Went with somebody else. I can't really recall at this moment, but I think they went with Iguchi. But I think for the next 15 years of this franchise mode, Brandt Clarke, Marcus Mironov, Quinn Hughes are going to be fantastic players on my defensive core. And the best thing going for my roster right now heading into the 2021-2022 regular season, our defensive core is going to be stacked. I'm really excited for us. And I'm going to offer Brandt Clarke a contract so he can get some NHL time this year. Now, Trevor Wong. He's Canadian, and he's playing in the WHL. He's not NHL ready. I believe when we drafted him, it said he was a year away from cracking it into the NHL. Now, he's our only elite center prospect. I want to treat him with a lot of care. Now, I've simmed a lot of franchise modes where he was mistreated by teams, but I think he's going to be playing in a good atmosphere. He's going to play there in Kelowna. I'm going to leave him off contract for a year, let him grow in the WHL, let him have a good season, and then we'll bring him on next year where he can play third line NHL time once, because right now I don't have a specific third line center. There's 2 players that I'm debating moving or just changing in general, because Okay, I'll throw those players out there. Greenway and Hoglander. I want Hoglander in the NHL this year. He's ready for third line time, but Green isn't really a center. Hoglander isn't really a center. Lucas Raymond is going to crack the show this year, so it could be a rough third line this year, but I want to get those NHL ready talent in the show, right? So Trevor Wong, I'm going to leave off contract for a year. We did draft this Chris Griffin in the third round, 64th overall, 64th overall, 63 overall. I'm going to just let him play in America for a year or two, let him grow a bit, and then play him in the AHL. Not a lot of, wow, English, come on. Not a lot of other guys drafted, but we made out like gangbusters in this year's draft. I mean, let's head to goaltending. There's another prospect that I do have to sign. Goaltending is the biggest question mark heading into year number 3. I'm hoping that there's a goalie out there in free agency that we can throw a bit of money at, because we do have a bit of money, but the future right now is Jaden Wyman, maybe? I'm not really sure. 19 years of age, high elite. He grew, I believe, close to 10 overall in one season. So we are going to offer him that contract. He'll be the backup, maybe he'll be the backup in the AHL this year, and then make his way to starter or the starting position. I mean, Robson, we can... Hunter Jones, I think, will be ready to come into the AHL this season. So you know what? We're going to sign Robson just so we can have him in the AHL just in case. Kakkonen, we will sign to. Can we get him to maybe a 2-way contract just in case, you know, injuries happen, and I want him to maybe be the NHL backup this year. If we need to give him NHL money, we will, but it's not like he's asking for too much. Linus Ullmark, man, you know what? After the weird season he had, he got us wins, which hurt us in the long run because, you know, lottery. But the draft went as well as it possibly could have. So Linus Ullmark, I'm gonna let him go. Obviously, he's probably asking for. He's not even asking for that much, so we're going to let him go to free agency. He probably doesn't want to re-sign on this team anyways. So let's make our way to the UFAs. UFAs, who's the biggest guy here? Radko Gudas, who, honestly, I really liked this season. A poor season in general for everybody defensively. He was pretty solid. A lot of penalty minutes. He was paired really well with Ville Heinola most of the season and playing with Quinn Hughes down the stretch. He wasn't even that bad. But... we're really... how much does he want? If he wants over... what? Come on, press back. Come on, I'm pressing back like 8 times. Come on, game. Come on. How much does he want? 1.4. I'm going to let him slip to free agency. Let him go. Ryan Hartman. Yeah, I'll sign him to that deal. He'll be a depth player for us. Adam Lowry. Is it Adam Lowry? It is Adam Lowry. He doesn't want to come back, so how much does he want? I'm going to let him slip to free agency, and if we need to offer him a contract, we will. Marcus Foligno. Does he... he wants a 2-way contract. We'll give it to him. Pattern. We'll give him a contract. Ryan Reeves. An absolute stud. He wants NHL money. He's not worth NHL money. Suisse. We'll give him a contract. I'm assuming a lot of these guys aren't going to re-sign because we had a poor season, and that tends to happen where if you have a few prospects in the line or the lineup or the roster or the AHL, they don't want to come back because they won't have as much playing time. I get it. We had a poor season. So I'm going to sim a day, see if we get the UFAs back. Suisse, okay. Foligno wants to test the free agent market. Okay. Okay, so Marcus Foligno. Oh, my game's. Okay, my game broke. Game, don't you freeze on me right now, or I will hurt you. You will suffer the consequences. Don't even test me, boy. So Kaprasov's contract is actually up next year. We will offer him plenty of money. We'll lock him down to 8 years. We will. Don't even worry about it. So UFAs, Marcus Foligno does not want to come back. We'll release him. Soyce will also release him, and Kuzmin, or I didn't say that right, but sure, goodbye. RFAs. Now that is a different situation there. We'll start from the bottom, work our way up. Sign a few depth guys like Bitten, Sokolov, who can be trade assets if we need them to be. Strum was a solid center this year in the AHL. Bring him back. Shaw, we'll bring him back. No! What was... Oh my god. Was he asking for like 3 point... Oh... Oh no. Oh, we're gonna have to trade Shaw. Well, I didn't expect... I just didn't look at it because... Okay, he asked for like 3.2. Whose man's asked for $3.2 million? Wait, who did we just... Shaw it through! Oh, we're... Well, that'll be an easy contract to trade. Don't worry about it. But whose man... That is my fault and the computer's fault. Because, why would he ask for that much money? I should have... You know, that's a lesson. That is a lesson. I'm sorry about that, game. But seriously, why would he deserve $3.2 million? Explain that to me. Jesus Christ. Psychov. Give him a contract. This guy's can't say his name. Laminko can actually be an NHLer for us this year, so how about we get him to a 3-year deal? He can be a solid 4th liner for us. So hopefully he signs that contract. Now the two biggest RFAs we have are Kevin Fiala and Ryan Donato. So Kevin Fiala, what does he want? $4 million over 4 years. We can do 4 years works for me. Bring him up until he's 28, so in his prime. So let's go to the calculator. Calculator, how much are you asking for? 4.8 to 5 times 0.85 equals 4.1. Now, he is an 84 overall. He's going to be a decent second-line left winger for us for the foreseeable future. I think that's a solid contract for him right now. And obviously, if he proves himself in the future, he'll get even bigger pay. Ryan Donato, who grew a lot this season, we could also sign him to an 8-year deal. But are we going to? You know, we'll give him the 4-year deal, just like Fiala. So 2.850 times 0.85. Nope. Hold on. 2.85 times 0.85. There we go. So we'll give him 2.425. Okay, let's see if they sign. I did sign a few scouts just to get them out of the way. Just because I hate doing that on camera. Get them out of the way. A bunch of them. Didn't even know I had that many. Donato signs a contract. And Fiala. Oh, okay. Fiala is giving me a little bit of trouble. And my game is broke. Why does my game keep doing that? Stop freezing. Seriously, I don't appreciate it. Okay, Kevin Fiala. Trust me, man, I like you. I like you here on this franchise, and you're going to be a big part of this team heading into the future. But don't be giving me trouble like that. I will, if I give you a 1-year contract, you'll still be an RFA. Okay? So I'll give you a 1-year deal, and then we can talk about this next year. Kevin Fiala signs the contract. So we get that out of the way now. That was a little controversial. I just wanted to get him out of... Oh, Kakinen didn't sign. Okay. Because he didn't want the... I'm glad I remember that. So we'll give you... you know what? We'll give you 0.8. Good. So he is going to sign that contract, which is huge. Don't have a lot of goalies. Now, I did talk about that not even that many minutes ago. But we will get him... We will get a goalie in free agency. So that is the biggest thing right now. So let's go to the coaching staff, because there are a few coaches to re-sign. I do want to revamp it a little bit. So our entire NHL coaching staff needs to be re-signed, except our head coach. Part of me is like, why don't we go out and revamp the entire thing? These guys like Durrett and Bourret and Dunham. I mean, how good is Dunham? Not even that good as teaching. So you know what? I'm going to actually leave all these guys. I'm going to fire you. No, not fire our head coach. Why would that even do that? Fire you and fire you. And then we will go into free agency and deal with their coaches from there. Okay, so let's sim to free agency. Is there going to be anything nice there? Okay. Who's the big fish this year? Will we have money to throw? Dougie Hamilton is the guy. Oh, Mayhew. Mayhew, what a beauty. Well, I mean, the top center here is Mayhew. Philip Deneau is an absolute underrated player in the NHL. If you guys don't agree, just check up his stats. He's a fantastic two-way center. I really like him. He might be a solid guy to bring on this team. Maybe he would fix... Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, but then I'd have to move Hoglander somewhere. Maybe we move Parise down. But I do... Philip Deneau is a great third-line center on a Stanley Cup team. Okay, so what are we... Okay, let's look at goalies. That's the biggest thing right now. Who's the big fish? Frederik Andersen. I know Pecorine was thrown around a few times this year. Who did he play with this year? He was actually traded from Nashville to San Jose. Yeah, so that's... Poor guy. Did they even make the playoffs that year? Rough. So there's a lot of guys to choose from here, but who is there any guys out there? I mean, we got a starter goalie. Doesn't look like there's anything super special in the prospect category. Okay, so we have our backup in Kakkonen, but we have to ask the question, is this team going to compete this year? I would say, yeah, I think this team is ready to compete. We have the pieces to compete. Obviously, if we're bad, it's a great draft to be bad, but I'm not going to force these young players to not be good for another year, to actively tank, but if we're bad, we're bad. Okay? But if we want to improve, goaltending is where it needs to start. Now, there's a lot of guys out here in free agency. Maybe we go after a guy like Henrik Lundqvist, but obviously Henrik wants to go to a team that is going to win. Now, if we need somebody, do we go out and get a guy like Matt Murray, who is a two-time Stanley Cup champion, won his second Stanley Cup before his sophomore season? You know, IRL, he's not doing the best this year. Tristan Jarry might be taking that starting role from him. Frederik Andersen, I know he's had a rough patch in the NHL right now, but overall, he's been a really solid goalie. I mean, from Anaheim to Toronto, 3 straight 9-17 seasons. I think he's a solid goaltender. He was their MVP most of the season. Then you got Jakob Markstrom, who, you know, should be a better overall, and I debated that a lot, but he is a very good goalie. Playing with Buffalo, I believe they were a solid team. Obviously, 37 wins is something. Pecorine, but I would think he would want to go to a more competitive team or a more stable team. You got Philip Grubauer, who is one of the youngest guys up in the top of goaltenders. You got Antti Ranta, Korpisalo, Philip Grubauer. How is he? You know, 9-13, 9-10. That ain't bad, but he's also been playing with the Colorado defense, right? With like Cale Makar and Girard, so that's rough. Do we go with the younger guy in Matt Murray, who's not asking for a lot of money, and he's one of the better overalls here? Now, I'm a fan of Matt Murray just because of those Stanley Cup runs with Pittsburgh. I mean, that's an interesting question. We got Halak, we got Francouz, Mrazek, Grice. There's a lot of goalies this year. There's a lot of goalies that potentially might be the guy to come in and... Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Charlie Lindgren is from Minnesota. It's either Minnesota or he's from New Jersey. One or the other. But I think the real question is, who would simulate the best on this team? Personally, I want to go out and get a guy like Jakob Markstrom. I mean, he's looking for 4 years. Frederik Andersen's looking for 4 years. Matt Murray is only looking for 1 year. Now, Matt Murray, a guy that needs to come over to a new team and prove himself. Minnesota might be the team to prove his worth. His other teams that are interested are the Edmonton Oilers. So I think, you know what, we have $30 million in cap space. If he wants to come over for 1 year, we're gonna give him a bit more money than he's asking for. I would go up to $7 million. I would offer him $7 million at 1 year to come over to Minnesota. We have the money to spend. Now, this team, what are we looking for? You got guys like Krejci, Danault, Gusev. You got Corey Perry, who's a solid right winger. I mean, personally, I like our core as it is. Personally, the only thing I would be looking for is a center. Philip Danault does want 5 years. Krejci wants 2. And Krejci is such an underrated player. I mean, we do need a playmaker. He could potentially play first-line minutes for us. I mean, maybe move Kunin down. That is... I mean, he's a second... Ooh, Philip Danault. Is he... Nope, that's Ryan Murray. Philip Danault says... I think it would say he's a second-liner. We could move Donato down. Greenway is kind of a question mark. But I do like Greenway as a player. I think he'd be a solid third-liner. But I do like Hoglander. I want Hoglander to become a second-line forward in the near future. Philip Danault is young, but Krejci, you could say the same thing like the goalies. He wants to go out and compete with a solid team. Now, David Krejci has always played second fiddle to Patrice Bergeron. He's never been that first-line guy for the Boston Bruins. Okay, and Krejci might be a good placeholder and an offensive playmaker for the Minnesota Wild, passing to guys like Kaprizov and Pietrangelo. He could be the guy to go with. You know, he's always played second fiddle. He'd be coming over to a Minnesota team that needs him and would play him in key roles, and that he's never really gotten that time to be a key player. I mean, he's been a good player for the Boston Bruins. I mean, you look... last season IRL, he was really good, 73 points. I mean, he's an underrated player. I think he's a really solid NHL forward. And a playmaker would work really well with this team and move Donato down, and I'm not 100% set on Donato as it is. I think he's going to be an iffy player moving from 83 overall all the way down to 79 overall. I'm iffy about that. Donato would be in a way better situation if we moved him to the third line, because right now our third line's looking a little iffy. Greenway would be the guy out, but Parise, we could bury Parise, but he did jump up and he did have a good season. I think we're just going to have to wait until the regular season to get our lineup looking just really pretty, because Raymond's going to move up, Fiala's going to move somewhere, Pietrangelo is going to move down. You can't see my roster sheet right now, but I think Krejci, he is going to dip off too. That's something that I also didn't take into account. Okay, who are the other centers this year? Because there's usually some Mikko Koivu, Jerry Mayhew, okay, Getzlaf is a power forward. Derek Stepan, Chris Tierney, who's an absolute stud in franchise mode. Let's look at his stats. 25 points plus 4. His giveaway to takeaway ratio is always really good. Oh, apparently he didn't have a great year in Ottawa. I mean, it is the Senators, so I'm sorry, man. Alex Galchenyuk might be a player to bring on. Okay, let's look at the right wingers. That's what we're lacking at right this second. Alex Chiasson, I don't think he's going to be that 85 overall for very long. Corey Perry might be a solid player to bring on, but we are loaded with snipers in our top 6 already. Ilya Kovalchuk. I love Kovalchuk. Oliver Bjorkstrand. Is he a sniper or a playmaker? Played on Vancouver. His giveaway to takeaway ratio was really good. I'm saying, he's probably a playmaker. I'm not sure about that. Frolik, who did dip in overall there. Okay, let's look at lefties. Lefties here. Zach Hyman would be an awesome player to bring on. Nikita Gusev, I'm not sure if he's a sniper or not. I mean, Schwartz, who's a really solid NHL forward, really underrated. Marcus Johansson, asking for a little bit of money. I mean, ooh, Thomas Vanek, a left winger, but he's right-handed. Now, you know how I am about my righty playing on the right-hand side and the lefties playing on the left. I thought Ryan Dzingel was a centerman. He's a... what? I mean, this guy's always a gem in franchise modes. I know I've had him once or twice. He's usually a really solid defensive player. Sven Barchi, Nemestikov, Chris Kreider. It's an interesting question to ask yourself. So what... I mean, we need a goalie. That we already got that solved. Okay? We don't need a guy like Zach Hyman. Gusev, I'm looking for that. I think center is the best option to go with right now. Is Krejci that guy to give or to hold on to the torch and then give it to guys like Connor McMichael, Trevor Wong, right? Or we could bring on a guy like Mikko Koivu, who used to play with Minnesota. Eric Holla. He was a 7th round pick by the Minnesota Wild. You know, he didn't even have a bad season last year with Arizona. He was pretty solid with Carolina. He was pretty solid with Vegas, too. There's a lot of options. I'm just thinking the best option to go with for... These guys don't even have to stay here for very long. Eric Holla only wants 1 year. Move Donato down. Is Eric Holla a playmaker? That's a thing that I'm looking for a playmaker because Donato isn't really a playmaker. Kunin isn't really a playmaker, but I do like Kunin. Kunin is going to be a stud. I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place. I mean, Philip Deneau wants 5 years. I'm not really willing to give up that kind of money for Philip Deneau. I know he's a great center, but I'd be more inclined to give 3.5 to Mikko Koivu, who wants 2 years, and he's played with Minnesota before, and now we're a solid team. He's 38, though. He had a pretty solid season with Montreal. He had 7-game winners, actually. I do like David Krejci. I think he's going to drop off a bit, but he's that offensive guy to bring over to play with Kaprizov, to play with Fiala, to play with Zach Parise, to play with Pietrangelo. I think David Krejci is the guy that I'm going to offer a contract to. He wants 2 years. I'm only prepared to give him 1. I think 1 year, we'll give him the same contract we gave to Matt Murray. I think that works for us. You know, we could go out and get a guy like Dougie Hamilton, but I think our defensive core is just set. I think we have a fantastic defensive core heading into the future. I mean, okay, let's look. Let's look at the defensive core. Let's see what's out there. I mean, Sami Vatanen's good. Chris Tanev is always a really solid defenseman, but the only thing that I'm really looking for right now is a depth guy. I mean, we have Sutter, we have Dumba, we have Quinn Hughes, we have M&M, we have Heinola and Brandt Clark, and we have to make those guys work. I mean, Sutter might have to move down this year, Hughes up. I want M&M to get plenty of time this year. So I would only be looking at depth guys like Grzelcyk, Nemeth. Well, I mean, if they're McCabe, Scandella, I don't want to spend too much money on those kind of guys, right? Radko Gudas would be a sick guy to bring back. You know, Radko Gudas is a guy that I really like. He was really good for us. I mean, Justin Braun might be a good guy to bring over. Xavier Ouellette. Oh, Dahlstrom also might be another guy to bring over. Radko Gudas really worked. I think Radko Gudas is a guy. But then I want Heinola to be in the lineup, right? I mean, Sutter is going to have to move down. I mean, he can move up. Okay, hold on. Let me use my brain. So if Sutter goes down from the top pairing, Quinn Hughes goes up. Okay, so like, let me write that. I got to use my brain. Okay, Sutter. Oh, Sutter might have to go all the way down, actually. So Heinola up to the second pairing. But then Brandt Clark. No, I think that works. I think Radko Gudas is just going to have to stay off. And then, okay, hold on. We'll wait. I want to check our coaching staff real quick. We need to get that out of the way too. So coaching staff, we need to revamp our entire NHL coaching staff. So let's see what's on, or what's out there. So we have our NHL head coach in Wellwood, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at going for forward guys like Croft might be a good guy to go with. He likes guys like Parise, Kaprizov, not really. Are not. Okay. Balanced. I mean, this guy was just fired, actually. Kaprizov. So he likes the defenseman. Ooh, Zane Menino was a guy that we actually had. You know, I'm gonna bring him back as an associate coach. I'll bring him back as an associate coach. Yeah, he loves the young, offensively driven players, and I think is going to be the thing to lead us into the future. Obviously, defense wins championships. They sim pretty well without a defensive head coach, and we do have a lot of offensive guys like Kaprizov, Petrangelov, Fiala coming into the lineup. So we have our associate coach. Now we're going to need an assistant coach. So let's look at how the scheme fit. Okay, not a really huge there. Few guys. No, I think we're looking for a more offensively driven coach there. Oh, that guy's not bad, but he's more defensive. Okay, let's be smart about this. Ouellette. Does he fit well? He likes Kaprizov. He's pretty solid with, well, Got an AHL head coach. Okay, let's go all the way up, because there's a few guys here. We got Croft that we could totally bring in as an assistant head coach. Anybody have solid? Tom Soy might be a good guy to go with, but I do like, if we're going as a forward coach, that might be the best option to go with, like this Ellington guy who's got solid teaching. Well, you know what? We'll give a contract to Ellington. Maybe it's just a test for a year. Let's see where everybody's at, and maybe we test this out a year. We go from there. Maybe if our coaching staff gels really well, that's something that we have to consider. That if they gel well, everybody starts playing well. If we're a competitive team, if we're not a competitive team, we can totally look around that. But we also need a goalie coach for the NHL, and we will look at teaching. Who is the best teacher? Is this guy right here, Pock? Peter Pock. Harry Potter. I don't know why that came to mind, but Peter Pock. Peter Pock. No, but I want you to be my NHL goalie coach. Offer contract. Sick. So that should be settled. So we only offered 2 contracts to NHL players this year. My phone keeps making noises. Please stop. So we offered a contract to Matt Murray and David Krejci. See if they sign. Zane Menino joins this club. That is sick. Ellington joins as well, which is huge. Pock also accepts. So our coaching staff is settled for at least 1 more year. Let's see if all the guys come. 3rd round pick for... No, why would I even do that? Okay, come on. Come on, where are all the big guys? David Krejci is truly humbled that we chose to offer him such a lucrative contract. He will not let us down. I'm hoping you don't. You're going to be a nice fit here in Minnesota. Matt Murray is also humbled and extremely happy we offered him a contract. He's coming over to Minnesota to prove himself as a top goalie. You know what? This might just be a proving point for himself until Wyman comes and is an NHL goaltender, or Kapanen takes that step, or until we find a legit goalie. This might just be for Matt Murray to come over to a team who needs a goalie and be that guy. So the 2 big fish that we were looking for in free agency have officially signed. Why would they Well, no. Next draft is gonna be insane, guys. But I'm gonna just check the block real quick. I'm going to check and see what we could get for a guy like Greenway. Now, Greenway is an 83 overall. I do like him on our third line. Trust me, if I can keep him around, I will. But if there's a trade out there to... Ooh, Comfort's not bad. Okay, first round pick from Dallas. No, nothing. Ooh, man, $10 million from... Why are Oh, Detroit. Oh, Detroit. Oh, you absolute fools. Habuniemi. Denisenko. McNiven. Nah. First from Montreal. Pinelli. Hillis. Sunny. First from Philadelphia. Kajakovic. First from Tampa. Tyler Radish. First from... Okay, there's a few options here. There's a few options, but first, I'm going to have to trade away that guy that we signed to an accidental contract. Because I want to make sure he goes, and whatever we can trade him for, I'm okay with. Shaw, no. $3 million, do I look like a tool? No trades found. So we're just going to go to a team, and we're just going to give him. Okay, whoever wants him can have him. Shaw... But I'm so... It was a butt dial, and we accidentally offered you the contract, man. I'm so sorry. Anybody wants you? Detroit, I know you're a dumpster fire. Do you want a few players? Do you want anybody at all? Do you want... I'll take him for a fourth. I'll take it for a fourth. You want him? Trade accepted. You absolute fools, you. You know what? Honestly, since we have the time here... You know what? Honestly... Oh, we let go of Lowry. Oh, I can't believe I just remembered that. We need a fourth-line center. Comfer might be a good fourth-line center. Let's go to center position. Is there anybody out here that stands out as a good fourth-line center for us? Brad Boyle might be a sick guy to bring on, just to absolute crush him. Former first-round draft pick. Riley Nash is always really solid. Minisov. Zajac. Zajac is an absolute stud. I'm looking for more of a two-way forward. Teddy Bluger, an actual name. 26 years of age. Might be a good guy to bring onto the team. He'd be a good penalty killer. He did play fourth-line time with Pittsburgh this year. Kopp. Ooh, Spezza. Kopp. What a Kopp. No... well, Curley, be good on the penalty kill, maybe. Walmark, Hansel. Remember when he was traded for a first-round draft pick? Those were the days. Okay, so, Bonino might be a solid guy on the fourth line for us. I do like Riley Nash. I do. But he's asking for $2 million for 2 years. Why is Brad Boyle asking for $3 million? Somebody explain that to me. He's not worth $3 million. I think Adam Lowry just might be the guy to go. No, I mean, he doesn't really want that. He just wanted to leave us, right? Nosek could be a decent fourth line center for us. You know, overall, he's a solid player. You know what? I think I'm going to offer Thomas Nosek a contract. 1 year, 1.3. You'll take the deal and you'll enjoy it. So, since we have the time here, I'm actually going to check the trade block. See if we can find anything super special. Because I know after the draft, there's a lot of players on the block that teams are willing to trade. Skitter's matching the block. Let's see. Anaheim. Anything special? Raquel. $3 million? That's such a... Anaheim, what are you doing? Oh, a team is definitely going to want him. But if there's just like a superstar out here, I'm totally willing to throw down for a top player. Now, somebody in the comments section did say, or did notice and notify me, that Elias Pettersson was on the block when we traded for Quinn Hughes. Now, I didn't even notice that, but if I had noticed it, like, we didn't have the assets at the time to go out and acquire Pedersen. We sort of did, but like that would have taken a lot, right? Oliver Shoddy, Bogue. Cam Atkinson has dropped a lot. I'm sorry, Cam. Tyler Dellandrea, nope. Anthony Meth. Detroit's such a dumpster fire. Yo, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is on the block. $7 million, former first overall pick. Poor guy. I mean, does he want to get out of Edmonton? I don't blame him if he wants to. Philip Deneau has signed with Los Angeles. Good for you, bud. Lazarev. Forsberg. Why, man? Oh, Nashville. He's probably dropped overall wise because of morale, but I'm assuming he's like 85, 86 overall. For one more year, no contract extension. We are pretty full on the left wing anyways. PK Subban! But he's got that full trade meter. I don't know why, honestly. Anything else out here? Anything super special? Drysdale! Drysdale is on the block? Yeah, but we're full on defense. We're so full on defense, it's not even funny. Anything super special here? Brent Burns. Brent Burns. We could get Jason Zucker back. That'd be sick. Brent Burns, what a beauty. Not really a good defenseman, but he's a good offensive defenseman. Whoa! They just signed... Did they not just sign Dadonov? Like last year? For how much money did they sign him for to how long? 2 more years. Okay. St. Louis, what are you doing? Perron's a beauty. Parenko. Brady Shen. 7 more years. No thank you. Kajakovic for Tampa. Van Riemsdyk from Toronto. Tyler Toffoli. Nah, I'm good. Niemi, who's a stud. Nikkanen. Nah. I think something will show itself once we need it to show itself. But I think Greenway could be on the move once I have my lineup ready to go for the next regular season. Now I'm going to see if that fourth liner signs a contract. Will he sign it? And Thomas Nosek signed, so that's huge. Our fourth line is filled out for next year. So we are good to go for the 2021-2022 regular season, and I think it's time for Minnesota to compete for at least a playoff spot. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.